Hey guys, Jackdaw here. Today I'm back with the 5th entry in my new lore series paving the road for the anticipated release of the next Dragon Age. As I've said before, through these videos I'll be delving into very particular honed in lore and plot threads that are rather telling for the future narrative of Dragon Age. Last episode, which was a fair while ago thanks to the surprising and amazing Dragon Age behind the scenes trailer, I discussed Thedas' most misunderstood race, the Qunari, as they invade, declaring the Qun's transfiguration for the people of Thedas. Continuing from that, today I am exploring a truly ever-present, iconic figure that has nudged, if not shoved, history for her own misdeeds. The goddess of love, patron of motherhood and justice, known as Mythal, the all-mother of the elven pantheon. The quintessential event that defines the fall of the elven people and their legacy, that set Fen'Harel on his scheme to create the Veil and banish the Eponymous, was the murder and betrayal of Mythal by her own kin. In order for us to look forward regarding what lingers ahead for Mythal, we've got to recollect everything that has been instrumental leading up to her death and how she has forced history to exact her vengeance against her evildoers.
She was betrayed as I was betrayed, as the world was betrayed.
According to Dalish lore, the world was created by Mythal, goddess of motherhood, justice and protection, and Elganan, god of fatherhood and vengeance. In this time, the ancient elven kingdom of Arlathan flourished in a world where everything sang the same. This was a time before the Veil's creation, when magic was at the foundation of everything. Together, Mythal and Elganan birthed children that formed the elven pantheon, otherwise known as the Eponymous. While not all were said to be the children of Mythal and Elganan, each were powerful, immortal mages, most impressive of their kind among the elven people.
In most stories, Mythal rights wrongs while exercising motherly kindness.
As a symbol of motherhood, Mythal was known to be the educator of the elven people, ensuring threats were kept at bay and opposers struck down for justice.
Let fly your voice to Mythal, deliverer of justice, protector of sun and earth alike. Other, paint her as dark, vengeful. Pray to Mythal and she would smite your enemies, leaving them in agony.
The Dalish tell stories of an ancient conflict during the reign of the elven gods. They say the pantheon, led by Mythal and Elganan, warred endlessly with gods of terror, malice, spite and pestilence, known as the Forgotten Ones. However, even before the war with the Forgotten Ones, the Eponymous were known to declare war on anyone who dare oppose them. They hunted the Pillars of the Earth, otherwise known as the Titans. According to their children, the dwarves, the Titans sculpted the entire world. Their earthquakes are apparently their method of reshaping Thedas to their own accord. Lyrium is in fact said to be the very blood of the world-shaping Titans, explaining its unique properties. Ancient elven writing describes the death of the Titans being a mercy that will make the earth blossom with their passing. And so they fought, until Mythal struck down the Titans, rendering their demise as the people praised her name. However, the runes crackled as if filled with angry energy, elves collapsing caverns, sealing the deep roads with stone and magic, terror heart-pounding ice cold as the last of the spells is cast. Almost as if the Titans were not as dead as the elves had thought, collapsing caverns and leaving the place forgotten so no one could wake its anger. A voice whispered what the Eponymous could have unleashed would have destroyed them all. The elven people must rise before the pantheon destroys them. With the supposed defeat of the Titans, the ancient elves discovered lyrium from their bodies and started to mine them for raw lyrium and something else which has been made made unclear. In their victories, the Eponymous became a villainous tyranny, amassing more worshippers, wearing armor of the void, creating diabolical creatures.
It started with a war. War breeds fear. Fear breeds a desire for simplicity. Good and evil, right and wrong, chains of command. After the war ended, generals became respected elders, then kings, and finally gods. The Eponymous.
The Eponymous institutionalized a system of slavery using Valenceline as a brand, with only Fen'Harel challenging their tyranny. Most of the gods were arrogant in their ways, their powers and attitudes more akin to the Tevinter Magisters. While the timing of events gets rather foggy at this point, and even beyond that, in their lust for power, the other Eponymous murdered Mythal. In an act of revenge, Fen'Harel created the Veil and banished the Eponymous to the Beyond as punishment.
They killed Mythal. She was the best of them. She cared for her people. She protected them. She was a voice of reason. And in their lust for power, they killed her. A crime for which an eternity of torment is the only fitting punishment.
However, unbeknownst to the majority of the other Eponymous, Mythal endured. A wisp of her being lived on throughout the ages, disguised under many names, eventually connecting with an Alamari lady known as Flemeth.
Once I was but a woman, crying out in the lonely darkness for justice. And she came to me, a wisp of an ancient being, and she granted me all I wanted and more. I have carried Mythal through the ages ever since, seeking the justice denied to her.
I know the name Flemeth. My people call you Asha'bellanar, the woman of many years, and speak of your legend. It says long ago you left your husband for a lover. Your husband then tricked you, killed your lover, and imprisoned you. Then a spirit came to offer you vengeance. Mythal. That's what you spoke of.
In Ferelden legend, Flemeth was said to be born in the Tower's Age. However, this is of course false, considering she somehow helped Ferelden heroes way back in the Divine Age, like Dane from the legend Dane and the Werewolves. Flemeth actually predates all human history records. It's unknown if the exact details of Flemeth's own vengeful story about her husband, Ban Conabar Elstan, killing her lover is remotely true. According to Brother Genitivi, it's difficult to say how much of Flemeth's legend is true and how much is false. There is no actual evidence of a Ban Conabar Elstan or a Flemeth of High Ever that exists in Ferelden history.
As for me, I have had many names, but you may call me Flemeth.
Flemeth carrying Mythal has nudged history throughout the ages, helping Ferelden heroes achieve their destiny, always with a price to pay, like the Calenhad bloodline. Flemeth helped King Maric retake the throne of Ferelden, however, not for naught. Maric had to leave the throne once his sons were of age to meet with one of Flemeth's daughters to awaken the rest of the ancient dragons. Flemeth rescued the hero of Ferelden and their allies at the Battle of Ostagar, ensuring one of her daughters, who was taught the Dark Ritual, would join the Wardens against the Battle of the Archdemon, so her daughter could potentially capture the old god's soul in the vessel of a newborn, allowing Flemeth to later retake the old god's soul. Once her daughter Morrigan discovered Flemeth's secret of effective immortality, the fact that Flemeth has survived the ages by extending her life through birthing many daughters and possessing them when they come of age, Morrigan sought to slay Flemeth. However, having saved the champion of Kirkwall from a darkspawn attack, Flemeth outplayed her daughter and requested the champion to take an amulet that held a piece of Flemeth inside to Kirkwall. Once recovered at Sundermount, Flemeth was reborn.
We stand upon the precipice of change. The world fears the inevitable plummet into the abyss. Watch for that moment, and when it comes, do not hesitate to leap. It is only when you fall that you learn whether you can fly.
After the Inquisitor, or Morrigan, drank from the Well of Sorrows, Flemeth revealed herself as Mythal, claiming that she seeks to grant the elven goddess the justice that was denied to her.
For a reckoning that will shake the very heavens.
If Morrigan had a son who held the old god's soul, Flemeth offered Morrigan a choice. She could give up her son and Flemeth would leave her alone forever, or she could keep her son. But Flemeth vowed to never stop hunting Morrigan until she can have her body to extend her life. Morrigan took the risk, willing to be Flemeth's next body in order to protect her son. If Morrigan never had a son, Flemeth told Morrigan that a soul is not forced upon the unwilling and that she was never in any danger from her. After Corypheus was defeated, Flemeth met with Fen'Harel, who we know as Solas, the elven god of rebellion who created the veil and locked away the other gods. Flemeth sent a piece of herself into an Eluvian before Solas absorbed an unknown quantity of her power so he could then rise as the Dread Wolf and continue his scheme.
Mythal clawed and crawled her way through the ages to me, and I will see her avenged!
Now I've talked about the bulk of Mythal's most relevant lore, we've got to engage with other plot points and speculation that linger for Mythal's vengeance. Mythal's next vessel. Flemeth intended to use Morrigan as her next vessel. However, Morrigan has never been willing for this gift, until now in certain world states. If she had a child who has the old god soul, Morrigan is now willing to be that very vessel for Mythal in order to save her son's life. However, if Morrigan did not have a child, the lines are more blurred on the possibility of her being the next vessel. It'd make sense if Morrigan willingly drank from the Well of Sorrows and therefore would be the next vessel, considering she yearned for the well's power without knowing outrightly what it would do. Regardless, if she did drink from the well, she drank from it with intent, therefore being willing to be Mythal's next vessel. In any event, it has always been Flemeth's plan to bestow Mythal's power to Morrigan. Will we see this action being fulfilled in the future, or will Mythal find a new, different vessel? Blight connection. Speaking once more on the Well of Sorrows, when the Inquisitor drank from it, we heard an ancient voice whisper, "Mythal speaks the calling." The calling being the songs, dreams and nightmares Grey Wardens start to hear and manifest once it's their time to face as many Darkspawn as possible until death, before they turn into a tainted creature themselves. Somehow, Mythal speaks this, connecting her directly to the Blight. Did Mythal release the Blight when she defeated a Titan? Did this create a Blighted Titan that started the Blight? Perhaps a Blighted Titan is the original source of the Blight, as it reaches out for revenge against the Evanuris, attempting to establish a connection with their children once more, destroying everything in its path. With Mythal being the one who killed a Titan, perhaps that now links to her. More on this Blight connection, Flemeth guided Kieran to her. When she took the old god soul, Kieran said, "No more dreams." Was Flemeth speaking to Kieran via dreams through the old god soul, and once removed, she could no longer connect with her grandson? What ties does she have to the old god souls, and why does she want it in the first place? Well, complete speculation, but I personally believe the old god souls are each a fragment of Mythal, explaining why she can connect with Kieran, who has the old god soul in the first place, also explaining why she encourages the end of the Blights, using the dark ritual because she would like to collect the souls for herself to become whole once again. While that's just a theory, currently 2 Blights remain, meaning Flemeth has 2 old god souls still to collect. Lyrium bodies. Adding more to the Titan and ancient Elven war, I need to speculate about why the heck the elves were mining the Titans for lyrium. Cole once said they made bodies from the earth and the earth was afraid. It fought back, but they made it forget. Perhaps the ancient Elven made lyrium bodies from the Titan blood, crafting strong, resilient vessels for the Evanuris and their people to inhabit, continuing their savage hunt against the Titans. Flemeth did say bodies bodies are such limiting things. No wonder she can body swap if they actually created their own lyrium bodies. And can you imagine the capabilities of a lyrium body? Does that explain their unique magical skills? We've seen what lyrium tattoos can do. Imagine a body built solely out of lyrium. It could mean immense power. Dwarf connection. Elves sealing the deep rods, Mythal slaying the titans, the statues of Mythal in the deep rods. Each of these events lead me to believe that with the titans struck down, the Eponymous conquered the dwarven people, thus explaining the fall and disconnect of the titans from their children, justifying why the dwarven kingdoms have grown disattached to their creators throughout the ages and have only now begun to re-establish that connection once more. Dwarves have no connection to the Fade and therefore cannot dream. However, Mythal somehow gave dwarves dreams. Did she have a deeper connection with a titan? Did killing that titan alter the connection of the dwarves to Mythal? Either way, she gave dwarves dreams. Potentially, this explains how Solas can also give dwarves dreams too, as seen in Tevinter Nights. Solas absorbed Mythal's power, therefore now giving him the same capabilities as Mythal to make dwarves dream too. Mythal's reckoning. Flemeth's entire journey has been to seek justice for Mythal's death. Throughout the ages, she has endured to ensure her scheme of vengeance will be wrought upon the Eponymous. And so far, she's been successful. She's gathered the old god's souls, forcing heroes to do her bidding, and has acquired the help of Solas to continue her wrath. I believe Solas is still indentured to Mythal. She is the reason he is doing what he's doing. Her death has been his motivator, and absorbing her power has been the only way he can continue his scheme to rise as the Dread Wolf. Without Flemeth giving him that power, Solas wouldn't be able to rise. But because it suits her plan and she can body swap, she has willingly given him her power. However, the two certainly have different plans. Solas wants to restore his time and save his people, whereas Mythal wants to seek a vengeance or a reckoning that will shake the very heavens. She aims to kill her betrayers and to ensure their defeat is final this time around. I feel Solas's idyllic plan may not synchronize with Mythal's intended vengeance. And finally, I need to touch on the red lyrium idol. Does this relic represent Mythal's murder and betrayal by the Eponymous? Is this the reason why Solas cherishes the idol and calls it his? Because it shows Mythal's final moment, where only a wisp of her endured. Will we finally uncover the truth behind the idol's origin and why Solas needs it for his plan? Will we see Mythal's due, or will something happen before she can claim her justice? How will she finish the Eponymous for good, and what part does Solas play in her reckoning?
Alas, so long as the music plays, we dance.
Let me know your thoughts down below on everything that lingers for Mythal. But until next one, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, like me on Facebook. But I have been Jackdaw, and I should go.